from a little cover. I got my dreams in sight, wrestling on the mat. I go and put up a fight with every hold and slam. I rise to the peak. Now as Professor Bear, it's my strength that they see. Roaring with knowledge like a lion so proud. In this wrestling world, I'm standing out loud. I'm Professor Bear, got the passion to spare. Wrestling's my life with the power to share. From the roots to ropes, in the spotlight we gleam, chasing victory dreams, living out the theme. Now my WOSN, my squad.
Yeah. Hey, new beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul.
With my forest crew, we'll always ride. In the wrestling world, one just claim the prize.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. I am Professor Bear, and this is a Bear's Thoughts. And guys, girls, I am blessed to have this gentleman back on my show. It's been a big honor and pleasure for me to have him, and we're going to discuss about his wrestling promotion, Bullpen Professional Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, the WWE legend, Bull Buchanan. Sir, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. So I'm going to actually do things a little different than I normally do. Before we get into the talking, everybody, guys and girls, I want you to see that his logo is up in the right-hand corner. I want to let you know that if you're looking at his promotion, this is the right one.
Yep.
And if you see the QR code above me, this will take you to their YouTube page so you can see all the great, exciting action that they do at Bullpen. So, sir, we're not going to dive into how you got started because we did that before. So, what I would like to get into is what made you decide to start your own promotion?
Well, I had retired in 2014. I was started working at the sheriff's office down here in 2012. So I retired in 2014, but I kind of figured that one or both of my sons would decide they wanted to do this. So I kind of left it open as far as coming back or anything, but didn't really plan on coming back. But my son, Ben Buchanan, Brooks Jensen, he wanted to get started, and we didn't have a ring at the time, so I started getting him booked as a referee, and we would go before the shows and we would train, and it wasn't long before he was in the ring himself, and I just all the old guys told me, if you ever want to get out of this, don't come back around it because you'll wind right back up in it, and that's exactly what happened. I went with him, making all kinds of shots all over Alabama and Georgia, and kind of got back in the mix and got to see a lot of my old friends. And once he went to NXT, it was probably about a year and a half or so lag there. And really what really all I really wanted was a school. I just really wanted a school where I could train guys and get them started, and didn't really want the promotion side of it because it's just I mean, you talk to anybody that's ever done it, it's a huge hassle. You rarely make money. It's just it's a big undertaking, especially if you're trying to do it mostly by yourself. But had a guy I knew from town approached me about doing it, and he had a it was a covered all the high school sports in the area. So him and I started it together in I believe April of 2024, and he about two shows in, he, like I said, he had a television or a YouTube channel, or not a YouTube channel. It was a sports channel. It was covered all the high school sports in the West Georgia area. So once football season started getting kicked back up, he was kind of tired. He was kind of tied up with that. So wound up just being me. And, we had our first class trainees, done really well. They're all branching out now to different places here in Georgia and Alabama. A few of them have already ventured down toward Florida and Tennessee. So got some good ones. Got some more wanting to train. So yeah, I just kind of went with it, and it kind of snowballed, and it's been really successful. So yeah, that's kind of it.
So if I was to ask you your advice on starting a promotion, what would be the first couple of things that you would tell me?
Don't. No, I'm. It's very hard to do it by yourself. You really have to have a team. You have to have people on the ground in places where you want to run. You have to have um, just starting out. We started out with just a ring and a ring and a truck and a trailer, and we venues. I would say venue is the biggest problem of any independent wrestling promotion. Unless you're AEW or WWE or somebody like that, and I'm sure that they have their. I'm sure that it's not a cakewalk as far as probably just on a whole different scale than what we have to deal with here. But venues, unless you have your own building and it's paid for and you own it, and nobody can kick you out of it. And that's what kept me out of trying to do this for so long, because I knew all the pitfalls and I knew how hard it would actually be. Um, trying to find a building, and then you find one and you pay rent on it, and you fix it up the way you want it, and then the owner decides to sell it out from under you or something like that. Those things. I've been doing this since 1990, and I've seen it a million times. I've literally seen guys start a wrestling promotion with $1 million and do everything the right way, and it still doesn't work. So it's very hard. If you got the money to blow, or you got your, if you want to treat it like a hobby, like somebody that races cars or motorcycles or fishes or something like that, is the best way to kind of approach it. Um, but yeah, I mean, but all that being said, I've had a great time, and like I said, it's been successful. Our first year, I know people get tired of hearing this, but I don't think people. We all do it because we love it, and we all do it because this is how we've spent our life. But at the same time, it comes down to dollars and cents, and I don't think people make too big of a deal out of all the other things when the bottom line is putting, excuse my French, putting asses in seats. One of the biggest problems you have out here is people that aren't trying to run this as a business. That is from my standpoint. people that aren't trying to run this as a business, don't care if they make money. You know, what, God bless them, whatever funds they've got set aside. You know, anybody that's saved their money and you know, or won the lottery or whatever, and you decide to do this, God bless you. But you know, it's when you're out here competing against people that, you know, their business model is just to have fun, even if they're losing money. It's kind of hard to compete with that when you're trying to make money. Um, but yeah, I mean, just starting out, the best way to start out is have everything you need already and have a building. You know, if you don't own it, if at least have a solid commitment from somebody, you know, that you're going to be able to rent it and you're going to be able to be there, and they ain't got no plans of selling it no time soon. That would be my advice.
I find it funny that most of the promoters I've talked to um, within this month are pretty much the same. They're like, it, look, realize you're not going to make a dime your first year. You can
Yep.
forget it.
Yep.
And you have to be committed, but also understand that things happen. No matter how well you plan for it, things happen.
Yep.
So be flexible. Have the mind state of this is a business. As
Yeah.
much fun as you're having, as much you're doing, it is business first if you want to succeed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's a different mentality from a different time. Guys, you know, I think my generation was might have been the first generation that really kind of started looking at this as looking at it in a different light. You know, I've always tried to keep the mindset of, yeah, I'm privileged to be able to do this and do it for as long as I have. A lot of people don't get to do it, and a lot of people try to do it and they can't do it. So I try to keep in mind that I've been privileged to do this. But at the same time, you know, it was a totally different mentality when I started. You know, it wasn't really. It was about making money. It was about making money. The bottom line is money. You know, I hate to rain on everybody's parade. We all love it. I love it as, you know, as much or more than anybody. It's been my life. So what I've devoted. I've lost friendships. I've lost marriages. I've lost all kinds of stuff over wrestling. This has been my life. So, you know, to anybody to say that I don't love it, don't know what you're talking about. But at the same time, this is a business and there is a bottom line. And if you don't put asses in seats, like I said, if you don't do that, you ain't gonna be doing this very long. I mean, if you got deep pockets, you can keep losing money, but losing money ain't really a business model to me. I don't know many people that it is. So
Right. um, what makes me love independent wrestling is just the fact of most people, and I'm saying this loosely, but most people that I've talked to and seen and have some kind of a personal connect to, they're it it is about money and the love of the sport. And I love the fact of keeping the the magic alive, so to
yeah,
say, because a lot of newer places don't do the old school teaching. They think it's oh well, that's archaic. They bully, they this and that. Well, but if you really look at what they taught, it's a real magic to it. And yes, there's different ways of teaching it, but as long as you stand with that principle, that's what makes the sport magical, at least in my estimation.
yes, I agree. I
So
agree.
so tell me, Tell me about some of your guys in your promotion.
Well, one of the first ones was a kid named Dante Diamond. He started training up in Rome, Georgia, with a local legend around here, Mike Golden. Mike Golden was big back in the 80s and 90s. Used to tour Japan pretty regularly. Was pretty big on the Southern Independence and even the Georgia Championship and places like that. Started training with him, and he was it was about a 2-hour drive, and he found out that I was doing it, and me and Mike go way back, all the way. Mike Golden was in the dressing room, I think probably the first time I ever stepped into it, and told him about me and hooked us up, and he's turned in. He's our light heavyweight champion right now. Another one of our trainees, Ryan Wendell. He was our former light heavyweight champion. Started off, y'all don't think I don't train anybody, but he started off with Robert Gibson. Started training with him a little bit, and then came to me, and we polished him up a little bit. Not that Robert didn't, but Robert didn't have as much time with him as we did. But he came to us, and there was a local kid showed up at our first show, wanted to run music, and we didn't have anybody to run music. He wanted to do anything to help, so we let him. And within about 5 minutes of talking to him, figured out pretty quick that he wanted to be a wrestler. This kid is still in high school. His name's Trey Jordan. Still in high school. He was an offensive lineman for a 4-time state champion Bowden Red Devils. Go Devils! That's my hometown.
Oh,
But he was a kid from Bowden. 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", 280, can move. Always reminds me of one of my old friends that ain't with us no more. Edward Fatu, Eki. Most of the people know him as Umaga.
yes.
Really puts you in mind of him. 280, 290, can move. Another kid is 19 years old, just got out of high school, JT Paradox. He was a high school athlete. He came to us 6'1", 6'2", 250, 260. Reminds you a lot of Rhino. Just a massive, human wrecking ball, suplex machine. One of our big guys, Xavier Cross. He's our Bull of the Woods heavyweight champion right now. JT Paradox is our television champion. Xavier Cross, 6'7", 270, can walk the top ropes. Whatever little bit of knowledge that I could pass on to him from being fairly agile in the ring, I've showed him, and he can walk the top rope. He can do all that stuff. So, but if you notice a common theme there, every one of them is or has been one of our champions. Like I said, when I started this, I really just intended on having a school and having a small building that the school was in to have basically trainee shows. I never dreamed of 4, 5, 6, 700 people being at these shows. I just wanted a small place where I could bring in 100 people or 75 or 50 or whatever, and let them give them some exposure in front of a crowd and in front of the camera. But it's worked out, and my plan all along was to build my own roster. I came into the business under Jim Cornette in Smoky Mountain, and then I was in OVW. When OVW was just getting off the ground as a developmental territory, I was there with Cornette. So I've watched how this stuff works, and I've watched how it's done to be successful. So I brought in a lot of my friends that I had wrestled with and worked with that I trusted and, I knew were solid workers. I brought them in to work with my young guys to elevate them to the top spots. And that's kind of where we're at now. Like I said, every one of them, Ryan Wendell lost the light heavyweight belt to Dante Diamond. So every one of them either has been or is currently a champion for us. So, and they're all branching out. They're all getting, getting to hit the big promotions in Georgia and Alabama. Xavier Cross goes to Southern Fried, another one of the big promotions here. Southern Fried Championship Wrestling. He goes to Coastal Championship Wrestling. JT Paradox has been in Action Wrestling, Matt Griffin's promotion over there. Southern Fried, Todd Sexton, Dave Manders, those guys. Southern Honor, another one of the big promotions down here. So Trey Jordan's been a multi-time champion over in Pro South, just over the Georgia line there in Alabama. So they're all doing great, and they're all in the spot that I gave it about a year and a half, and sure enough, they're all in the top spots now. So I just created my own roster, and we'll create a new one with these new guys.
Right. Um, how do you feel when you see all these young guys branching out and doing what they're doing, and you help get them to where they are?
Oh, it's great. I love it. Like I said, I mean, I never really intended the promotion part of it. Was just kind of just kind of wound up with it. It just kind of snowballed into its own thing. But uh, the school was really what I wanted because I enjoy watching these. I'm glad that somebody, uh, 30 some odd years ago, James Hammonds took a chance on me, taught me what he knew that somebody had passed along to him. I don't think this or any other business or sport or anything survives if you don't have people that are passing the knowledge on to the new group of people that are coming in. I've been down to the WWE Performance Center several times as a guest coach. The wealth of knowledge in that place is unbelievable. The coaches from Robbie Brookshot to Fit Finley to Steve, all the coaches down there, Matt Bloom is over all the coaches, of course, Shawn Michaels. I mean, it was kind of the same way with me in Smoky Mountain and the places where I first started. Smoky Mountain, we had Tommy Rich, we had Terry Gordy, we had Buddy Landell, Rock and Roll Express. Without dirty white guys like that, I mean, there's no excuse not to learn. If you don't learn, it's your own fault because you're just not putting in the effort. So I love it. I mean, I would much rather be known as a trainer than a promoter. Not knocking the promotion side of it, but anybody with $5,000 can come out and anybody with deep pockets can come in, buy a ring, find a building, throw it up, pay whatever superstar that is not currently signed a big gob of money to come out and draw a crowd. Anybody can do that. It takes somebody that's been doing this for a little while to be able to show guys how to do it. So yeah, I'd much rather be known as a trainer than a promoter.
It's such an amazing thing for me to see so many promoters that are also trainers, and they, like yourself, they rather be known as a trainer. They get their real love and passion for seeing new guys and girls grow, and you're able to, and you'll know exactly what I mean when I say this. You leaving the business better than you found it.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
think a lot of And I'm so glad that more people have that attitude, and I think it shows in the crop of talent out there that really do their due diligence with research and learning and actually listening and diving into old tapes to be able to talk. It for me, I always look at it as, wow, once I'm dead and gone, this business is going to keep going on and on and on until the earth stop rotating.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think you'll ever kill it off. I mean, you can damage it and you can hurt it and you can do a lot of stuff to it. But I think we're kind of like the cockroaches. You can't after the bomb drops, there'll be a couple of cockroaches figure out how to put a ring together and they'll start a wrestling promotion up. Um,
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm sure you see it. We all see it. And like I said, it ain't. Uh, Being a promoter is one of the harder things to do. Well, it depends on how you do it. Like
right.
I said, anybody with some money can go out here and get a ring, get a venue, uh, book some guys, and get you a big name to put you a crowd in there. Anybody can do that. It ain't hard. The hard part is, 5 years down 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, when you've exhausted all the great ideals you have, you got to figure out something new. And but yeah, I mean, um, I would much rather be known as a trainer than as promoter. The promotion part of it just kind of fell in my lap, and now, like I said, we've been pretty successful with it. Our first year, uh, through 8 shows, I think I sat down and I averaged our attendance for that first year. Our average attendance was 420 people.
Damn.
Now, a couple of those were 250 people, and a couple of them were 650, 700 people. So, and then our second year, I did an average at the end of this past year, which we ran a lot more shows. Our first year, we didn't start till June, and we
Oh,
picked up our second venue in December. So we only ran monthly shows up to that point. But the second year, 2025, we started out last year. We had a couple we have our regular show here in West Georgia. We picked up a show over in Delta, Alabama. We picked up another show in Roanoke, Alabama. Those were regular monthly shows for us. And then we did several benefits and fundraisers and that kind of stuff. But even with all those shows and with a few of them, I mean, yeah, I ain't got no magic formula. I'm just like everybody else. We're just trying to do what we can do. There's a couple of them in there that might have only drew 50 people. But still, I think pretty impressive. Our average, and I can't remember how many shows we did, but it was a lot more. But our average for the second year, I think, was right around 280 people per show.
wow.
Um, yeah, I mean, that's
That,
still good, and like I said,
yeah,
a
it
lot more
is.
shows. And we're getting ready to kick it off again. We're going back to all those places. We picked up a new spot, possibly Heflin, Alabama. Working on something in Anniston, Alabama. We're right here on the line, Georgia and Alabama. My
Right.
hometown, Bowden, Georgia, where we're based out of, is about 5 miles from Alabama. So we bounce back, back and forth over there and over here. But yeah.
I noticed too that you have a deal with a network,
Yep.
and I know that helps a lot. Getting that, being able to construct storylines and letting people start following along, and that helps bring in more viewers, fans too.
Yes, absolutely. Ikuza TV, ECUSA TV. It's on Roku channel. It's on Apple. It's on Fire. It's on all the streaming services and apps. It's available. It's ECUSA TV. Um, we started talking late last year, and I got my technical guy with their folks, and we started uploading stuff. And yeah, they got that. Hey, they're just like us. They're a startup, but they got some really cool stuff on there. A lot of indie, a lot of not just indie wrestling, a lot of indie films, music. They got all kinds of stuff on there. Whether you like wrestling or not, if you're hearing this, go check them out. Give them a like. They got all different kind of content on there. They've got a couple of different promotions, I believe. I can't remember the name of them, but go check them out. Yeah, we're on there. They've been great to us. I'm announcing some stuff here that haven't. I usually do a live. We call it Shooting the Bull on Monday nights at 7:00 or at 7:30, and I usually announce all this stuff on there. But I'll go ahead and announce it here. Our tech guy's been working on a Patreon channel for us, so we'll be getting details on that. Like you said, our YouTube channel, we got 2 years worth of 2 years worth of matches and house shows and some other added content we got. We're on X, we're on formerly Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. But I mean, honestly, probably the reason it's our biggest outlet is because it's the one that I know how to use best. Facebook.
Hey,
The other stuff I'm still learning on it, but Facebook I'm fairly competent to load stuff up and find stuff and that kind of thing. So of course that's going to be our biggest outlet. But yeah, our Facebook page, we got a couple of them. We got my Facebook page, Bull Buchanan, my personal one. We've got the Bullpen Facebook page, and we've got the Rebirth Facebook page. One of our, actually a bunch of our trainees have formed a group, and they've got their own Facebook page. So check them out. It's Rebirth. You'll see a purple, I think that's a phoenix bird or something like that. You'll know it when you see it. But yeah, the guys at ECUSA TV have been great with us and really pushed us and gave us an opportunity. Yeah. That back in the early 90s when I started, TV was a huge deal, and you could still find TVs, but everybody that's ever watched Wayne's World, the first one, they had an underground, it was a community TV thing.
right.
Stuff like, I mean, stuff like that was all over the place in the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, that's how I found Smoky Mountain Wrestling. That's how you found ECW Wrestling. I can't remember the name of the station, but it was some odd station that just was on for a few hours a night. But back then you could find stuff like that. Nowadays, it's so you just upload it to YouTube and do you've got so many different outlets that you didn't have back then. But ECUSA TV, we call it Yakuza TV. I have to be careful because I feel like I'm calling it Yakuza TV, which lights just went out. Which we don't want to. I got to find out how to get the lights back on here. We don't want to do that, but give me just a second. Let me see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
Here.
It is definitely. I've actually have been on that channel. They do have a lot of good content, and like Bull said, not just wrestling.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry about it. I'm sitting out here on the porch. It's so nice down here. It's been like 20 degrees for the last 2 months, and now today it was almost 70. So I don't even want to go in the house.
Right.
But yeah, they got all kinds of different content on there. So yeah, they've been great to us, and we're looking forward to this next year with them.
One of the things that really has me hopeful and happy for wrestling today is I almost feel like it's almost to the territory days, but better because you have so many different outlets. Like you said, you can see almost any wrestling anywhere in the world now.
Yeah,
Just do a little research or find the right streaming service. It's such an amazing thing.
yeah. Yeah, I tell these young guys all the time, man. They came along at probably one of the best times ever to try to make it in the business, because there's so many different outlets to get your product out, as far as product being themselves, and there's so many different outlets. There's so many promotions that you can go and make a living. When I first started, the last of the territories were still going. So you can still go to Smoky Mountain and make money. You can still go to ECW and make. You still go to Memphis. You can still go to Puerto Rico. You can go to Japan. And the global was running out in Texas. There were still territories that you could go to, and then slowly but surely it just got dwindled down. There was WCW and there was WWE, and there's always Puerto Rico and Japan, but and then we got whittled down to it was just WWE. And then, Jeff Jarrett and then Jerry Jarrett, I remember the $5 pay-per-view days. TNA
Oh
got
yeah,
started. $5 pay-per-view days at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Um, and so there was a little hope there. And then, we were all hoping, because I think a lot of the older guys did, but I don't think some of us younger guys, when we bought out WCW, I know, myself and probably a lot of the other younger guys up there were cheering, because we did it, we won, we beat them. People don't realize how close WWE was to actually going under.
yeah,
We were a few bad breaks. I mean, they were killing us in the ratings, and we were just a few bad breaks away from being in real trouble. And we managed to pull it out, and I don't think it dawned on us what had actually happened. The only other viable option where you could go make the kind of money that you made in WWE had just folded. It wasn't there anymore. So, and TNA wasn't somewhere yet where you could go and make a 6-figure salary like that.
right.
Now it eventually got there, and we were all cheering for it after we saw what happened. But we went from having, it's like going from having 5 cars to only having one, and that one ain't in good shape, and you worry it's going to break down on you.
Yeah,
It's a huge change. But right now, I mean, you look at all the places to go, and even more importantly, but I'll get into that. But you got all the different places you can go, that you can make a living. And but the key part to me is there's so many places that allow you to go somewhere else and make a living.
yes,
If I sign with NWA, and I don't know their salaries or salary structure or anything like that. But if I sign with NWA, I'm gonna be making NWA money. But at the same time, when NWA is not running, I can go make money, and the NWA gives me a platform where I can increase my worth to go make more money at other places. Same with TNA. And the crazy thing about this is I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime, but WWE is actually kind of letting people go different places. It's a whole different world, because you just didn't do that back in the day. If you work for
oh yeah,
somebody, you work for them. If you left to go work for somebody else, you better hope you can stay, because you probably wasn't coming back there.
right.
It's totally, it would be, I would love to be I'd love to be 25 right now. Um, there's options outside of WWE and even AEW
Yep,
where you can make a living. And actually, I look at guys like Zack Sabre and guys like that have parlayed their self into I'm sure probably a pretty good living, and they're not held down by a contract. They're not, they're freelancers. If they want to go to New Japan for a tour and then come back over here and pop in for TNA or whoever, it didn't used to be like that. And so, yeah, I think it's a great time.
I think too, and not that I've been in the business, so let me always start with that, but just being on seeing the business and having a lot of knowledge. When I get to talk to a lot of younger guys and girls, I always tell them, you are a business. You have to
Yep.
think of yourself as a business. You have a brand. So market yourself. Get it, look, go on podcasts. Go when people invite you places, go and show them why they want to be in your business, why
Yep.
they need your brand to help their brand grow.
Yep.
And nowadays, too, it's so amazing to me how wrestling touches everybody in the world. Just this month, me doing this, I've gotten blessed where I'm talking to um, companies over in New Zealand and Australia, Africa, the UK, just getting to talk and see what the difference is and what is universally alike everywhere. So if you like, I know a lot of people I've talked to, they want to go overseas. Well, you have ways. Just start reaching out, but you have to do that work
Yep.
that makes people want to have you, want you to come and make a good name for yourself.
Yep. Yep. That's how you do it. I mean, whether it's 1968, 1998, or 2008, it's the same formula. You just got to get out there and network.
Yes.
You just got to go out there and meet people at the shows and get numbers and stay in touch with them, and it'll happen. It's no big secret, but I think sometimes people just it doesn't work like that. Yeah, it just somebody comes from my experience. I started here in West Georgia. I worked for my trainer for my first few shows. And one of the guys that came in to work for him, one of the older guys came in, saw me, said, "Hey, man, I think you'd be a good fit over at, wherever." And I said, "Well, I'd love to come." So I did. And you go over there and you meet somebody over there. "Hey, man, I think you'd fit in really good here." Before long, you're going on, you're working all the time. You're going places and, hopefully making a little bit of gas money. But I mean, if you do, it's great. If you don't, oh well. It's a part of getting your name out there and getting looks and getting reps. It's all about getting reps. Whether you're working in front of 200 people or 20 people, it's all about reps. That's the promoter's. That's his problem. If there's 20 people there, it ain't your problem. It's the promoter's problem. Now, should you help the promoter promote? Absolutely. Put it on your Facebook, put it on your social media. Hey, I'm gonna be here. Y'all come. I mean, I'd much rather work in front of 200 people than 20 people. But
Right.
as a wrestler, I want those reps. I want those, the in front of 2,000 people or in front of 2 people. I want those reps. So, yeah, it's I don't care who you are, when you are, it's just back when I started networking was the same, you go to shows, you meet people, handshakes and that kind of thing. But then you had to get on the phone and talk to them and call them up and catch them when they were at home, get through their answering machine. Promoters never answer their phones. So get through their answering machine, finally get them on the phone, beg for a chance. Now it's a lot easier. You got social media and you can, I can sit there and tell somebody, hey, or back then we had to send tapes, they'd say, well, send
Right.
me a tape, let me look at you. So you'd send them a VCR tape and they'd take a look at you. Nowadays, all you got to do is say, hey, I'm on YouTube. They can, while they're on the phone with you, they can pop over to YouTube and, oh yeah, man. Yeah. yeah, sure, come on, or no, I don't need you. Um, so it's the same old deal. It's just the different tools to do it with, and honestly, I mean, with all the tools you got now, there's no reason not to do it. There's no reason not to get out there and network and get your name out. And it's all how much you want to, there's guys that start in this that have no illusions of being in WWE or AEW, and there's nothing wrong with that. If I had never made it anywhere, you know, big worth mentioning, if I'd never made any money, I'd still done it. I would have still done it because it's always what I wanted to do. Uh, when I started doing it, I fell in love. I was already in love with it, but I really fell in love with it when I started doing it because it was everything that I hoped it would be. So, if I'd never made it to WWE or WCW or Japan or anywhere like that, I would still have done it. But I've been blessed. I've been really blessed.
And I think from my point of view, with again, me just being a wrestling fan and not doing the opportunities I had, because I had few opportunities, but it was like, no, I can't leave my family, my kids a little or whatever. So it's like, okay, I can't live that dream. I never thought, I'm 52 years old. I never thought I could say, hey, I'm in the wrestling business and I do so much and people respect my opinion. It's mind blowing. I had a chance where I got into the ring last year, and it was the greatest thing in my life. Walking out, just going through the curtain, walking around the ring, and it just so happened it was a cage. It was all cage match. So I got to get in the ring in the cage match, and in my head, the little me has went berserk, and I'm just sitting here thinking, this is what these guys are talking about when they get tunnel vision, and oh my God, and I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, I get it now. I see why most wrestlers say they are blessed to do this.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
It's the most addictive drug. I think I've never really been into that lifestyle, but it's got to be one of the most addictive drugs that you could ever use because it works on something that a lot of the other drugs doesn't work on, and that's ego. When you walk out of that tunnel, I don't care if if you're cheering or booing, but when you walk out of that tunnel and 200, 300 to 20 people, whatever, are losing their minds one way or the other over you, that is a huge that's something that the other drugs don't really mess with, is your ego. And it's hard to let it go. It's hard to let that feeling go because there is nothing like it. Yeah, it's and that's why you see Ric Flair at his age still trying to do this.
Yep.
Now everybody's got an opinion. Everybody can say what they want to. Oh well, he needs the money, or yeah, why does he do it? He don't need the money. I have no idea where he needs the money or not, but I know exactly why he does it. Because it's a feeling you can't replicate with anything else. I mean, unless you're going to turn into a boxer or MMA fighter or, race NASCAR or something like that, there's nothing that takes the place of walking out of an entrance and having people love you or hate you. The only way you can replicate that is to do it again. And that's why we keep doing it, even after we're too old, we're too busted up, we're too broken up, we're too, we've run our bodies into the ground, but we just want to walk out of there one more time and hear the crowd.
It's a funny thing. Was talking to someone about Rick, and I told them, I said, well, you got to understand his point of view. I said, the real him died years ago, there's only Ric Flair now. That's all he knows.
Yeah.
And he can't help it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even really know who Barry Buchanan is anymore. But people call me by my surname. I usually don't even turn around and look. Because it's been so long, so I don't know
Right.
Barry Buchanan anymore. I just know Bull Buchanan. Um, the two can definitely overlap. But Rick, yeah, like I said, I mean, I totally get it. I didn't understand, but nobody has no at this to this point, nobody has come up and said, "Hey, man, you cannot get back in the ring. You'll never get back in the ring again. You cannot do it. Don't do it." I've had plenty of people tell me don't do it, but there's always in the back of your mind that one more match. As long as you have that hope for that one more match, you're still alive. When that hope goes away, part of you die. I really think that if you've done it as long as he has, and and the other thing, you can't at 70 years old go out and play in the NFL.
Right.
Can't do it. Nobody would let you. If they did let you, you'd get hurt. I mean, I don't care how bad you are or how bad you used to be, you get hurt.
Yeah.
Age catches up with everybody. But in our business, it's different because you can do that. Because the guy standing across the ring from you is willing to work with you. So we have that option. And as long as that option's out there, I mean, in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, man, I could just do it one more time, just one more time, just one more time. But hopefully, and when you're Ric Flair, we're talking about Bull Buchanan doing it for $200. When you're Ric Flair, you can do it for $20,000, and that's a lot bigger. That's a lot bigger hit, and that's a little more justifiable.
Yeah.
To go out there and make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, which is totally possible for him to do. I've seen it with my own eyes several times. I mean, but at some point, I think everybody has to say, okay, I can't do this anymore. I did a match back in December. Don't do them much anymore. Usually just for our big shows, maybe twice a year. It's kind of an Undertaker kind of schedule for me.
Right.
But this last one, I wound up at the hospital. I thought I broke my neck a few years ago over in Japan. Thought I'd redone it, and wasn't fun anymore. When it stops being fun, I guess that's when, you kind of have to
Let it go.
pull the curtain on it. Yeah.
And it's again not trying to compare me to you, because there is no comparison. But I told somebody that once podcasting wasn't fun for me, I'm not doing it. And I said I have too much fun. I get to talk to legends and young guys and just so much. And I'm a big believer in letting people know history. So it's all fun for me. But when it starts feeling like a job, it's like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. You never, I've done this for a long time, and I always, that's a double-edged sword to say that. I always tried to put myself in the boss's shoes, in the promoter, Vince McMahon, Jim Ross. I always tried to look at it from their standpoint. For me, this was never a job. I never felt like this was a job. I always, was blessed to make money and be able to do it. But I always tried to look at it from my employer's standpoint of it being a job. That means being there on time, doing what you're told, not causing problems at work, not causing problems at home that become problems at work. I tried to look at it from it being a job. I tried to approach it from being a job. This is my job. I need to be here on time. If they ask me to do something, I need to do it. I need to do it with a smile. They don't want my attitude. They don't need that. I've always tried to look at it from that standpoint. But it's in 30 years, it's never been a job to me. It's always been, what it is. I've loved it. I've enjoyed doing it. I never dreaded going to work. So yeah, it's been great.
And I am so glad to hear that. I think the last time we talked, I said this to you, and I'm gonna say it again. It would not only me, but I know my fans are very thankful and very appreciative for everything you've done for wrestling, what you're currently doing, and what you're going to do for the future. Um, I really believe in giving people's flowers and letting them know how meaningful they are to us as fans, because a lot of people don't get to hear that while they're alive. And I just wanted to tell you thank you once again for everything you're doing, for your great promotion, and for keeping um, the history alive and training guys the right way.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, who am I? Who would I be if somebody was kind enough to pass the knowledge on to me? Who would I be not to do that same thing? Um, and yeah, I mean, I run a training school. Yeah, there's money involved in it, but not a whole lot. And you know, it ain't like I hadn't done it for free before. You know, it's a funny story how things work. Me and the guy started with a guy named Bulldog Reigns. Um, he never got to the WWE, but he went to Puerto Rico. He worked in Puerto Rico. He was out in Memphis for a long time. If you go back and look around 98, 99, you'll see him out in Memphis. He was just a fire plug of a dude. I don't know if he broke 6 foot, but man, he was 280, 290 pounds. We were workout partners. We were best friends, still are. But we started and we had no idea if we were going to make it or not. We didn't at that point. I don't think either one of us really cared. We were just enjoying it so much. I remember the first time we started traveling. Like I said, we started out with a guy that trained us. Guys, they would bring guys in that would see us and invite us here and invite us there. We went to Boaz. We went to Arab, Alabama on Friday night, and then the promoter asked us back. It was about 30 miles down the road from Arab, Alabama. It was Boaz, Alabama. So we worked Friday and Saturday night, and I think for both nights, we both made $40 for both nights, and we could turn cartwheels all the way home. We were doing it. We were out on the road. We were wrestling 2 nights a week. At first anyway. You want to wrestle every night, but 2 nights was the start. And we were traveling. It was about a 2.5 hour trip, so we'd have to get off work, throw our stuff in the car, and haul ass to the show. But we were living the dream. And I tell guys all the time, young guys, old guys, whoever, some of the best times you'll ever have doing this is when you're totally broke. You barely got gas money. You barely make it to the town. Hopefully you got enough to get you something to eat afterwards at the Waffle House or something. But I look back on it, and it was before car notes and mortgages and a family and all the responsibilities that you have that come along later in life. But I look back on it now, man, it was some of the greatest times ever. I mean, we wasn't making anything. We were barely getting by, but man, we were living the dream, and it was all new, and it was all, it was all, we had the whole future in front of us. So I try to tell these young guys, man, enjoy it while you can, because before you know it, you're my age and you're looking back on it instead of looking forward.
Yep, definitely. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on my show.
No,
Um,
absolutely, man.
I, I told you before, and I truly mean it from the heart. You and the Big Boss Man were one of my just favorite tag teams that just did not get the push y'all really did deserve. I love the way y'all dressed, y'all style, everything. Uh, it, you mean so much to me personally that talking to you is such a privilege. And again, I thank you for this.
No, no problem. No problem at all, man. I just, because like I said, I ain't sitting here with a bunch of notes or anything. Just one of my other trainees, and I can't get off here without talking about him. Damon Showtime Thomas. He was one of our first trainees. He grew up with my two sons, Brooks Jensen, who's in NXT right now, and my other son, Zach Buchanan, who probably be there for too long. He's down in Orlando already. He's just waiting on a tryout date. But Damon Thomas grew up with those kids. Grew up next door neighbors to us. So it was a pleasure, to find out that, which I knew he liked wrestling because the boys they would get together and watch the pay-per-views and stuff. But he's another one, just a tremendous athlete, can do anything off the ropes. But he's one of our big stars. Probably get a chance to go somewhere one day. But yeah, I just when you think of this stuff off the top of your head, sometimes you forget about
Oh yeah.
stuff. Kyle Gunner, another one of our trainees, started out as a referee and had his own agenda, kinda, and he's wound up working for every promotion, and he's still a rookie. And he's not the biggest guy. I always tell people he ain't the biggest guy, but he's got a lot of fight in him. But he's worked for just about every promotion in Georgia in
Wow.
in the last 6 months. So yeah, I just got a bunch of good kids, and feel good about where the business is going.
That's always great. Again, thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Guys, girls, thank y'all so much for joining me around the campfire with another amazing story. Um, like I always say before we get off of here, please, please, please support your local indie wrestling.
Yep.
I can't explain to you how much it means to not only to the guys and girls doing it, to the promoters, but it means the world. You're going to get a different experience in the indie scene versus the bigger ones.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you it's better. I'm not telling you it's worse. But what I'm telling you, it's something that's going to stick with you for the rest of your life. Is that great? So do that. Make sure. And with that being said, I am Professor Bear. This has been a Bear's Thought, and we'll see you around the campfire really, really soon. Y'all take care.